The Rhino RB20 running boards are going to appeal to you 2018 and newer 4-door JL Wrangler owners out there who want to add protection, off-road style, and functionality to their rig. These are a high-quality steel running board that make a rugged visual statement with some added protection and versatility that go perfectly with your Wrangler styling. Running boards are some of the easiest mods you can make to your Jeep, and unlike a lot of other modifications, they can serve multiple purposes. Such is the case with the RB20s. Now, of course, the primary function of any running board is access. These have a huge step pad measuring 7.5 inches wide all the way back. So they provide you a solid foundation on which to put your feet all the way through. Now, for someone who's a bit shorter like I am, I find these kinds of steps way more helpful than the smaller one. It's a very good, very stable platform to lift yourself up on, and that's especially going to be helpful if you've got a lift on your Jeep or if you're planning on fitting one in the future. Or even if you just need to access things on the roof, as I know a lot of you go out there overlanding and you have roof tents, roof racks, and all that kind of stuff. And you don't need to get a running start to be able to get stuff on there with these. The punch hole design here also helps improve grip by letting water and debris drain off and giving the tread of your shoes something to grab onto. And that brings us to the other big benefit here, and that is the protection. Now overall, you can see these have a pretty low profile design and they tuck up pretty close to the rocker panels. So if you are doing some more heavy duty off-roading, these are going to provide a lot of protection to those panels, and it's not going to seriously impact your ground clearance or your breakover angle. So you're not sacrificing capability by running these. And the tough construction means that if you do happen to hit them on something, they will take the beating and keep on kicking. It's going to save your Jeep from getting damaged. The steps are made from heavy-duty 16-gauge steel that has been zinc-coated and then galvanized to protect against rust and corrosion. It's finished off with a textured black powder coating as well for good looks and some additional protection. Now that finish is super durable and it can really take a beating. It also helps bring a bit of extra grip and texture to the steps. And with all that, I think it's safe to say that these are definitely going to stand the test of time, and they should do quite well if you live in a harsh climate. And since the bottoms of the steps are pretty open too, they aren't going to retain moisture in the same way as something like a tubular step. Now when it comes to the price, these are going to land kind of in the middle. Expect to spend about $625 on the set. Now these aren't going to be quite as expensive as some other larger steps or even the electronic folding steps. However, I do think these represent a good value because of their construction, the clearance that they provide, and the accessibility factor. So all that taken into consideration, I would say the price of these is pretty darn good. As far as installation goes, these get an easy 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should only take you about 2 hours to complete. All of the hardware you need comes included in the box, and there's no cutting or modification needed to your Jeep or the steps themselves. So this is a simple bolt-on installation, and we're going to show you the process right now by handing things over to one of our XT customers.
As far as tools go for this install, it is pretty simple. 2 ratchets and 2 7/16, so when I was putting in those side bolts, and then a 1/2 inch for those larger bolts going into the body. Okay, so the first step is to put the arms on for the running boards to lie on the driver's side, and that will involve putting 2K arms and 1 L. For the hex bolts, we're using that 1/4 inch with the spring loading washer, the lock washer, and the flat washer. When we place that arm through, what we're going to do is put that hex bolt through, and then we have some extra washers, so we're going to put another washer on the back, and then we will apply that hex nut. So let's get in there and do that. At this point, we're just going to keep it loosely fitted. We'll tighten everything up once we have that M8 bolt situated through the middle here, which is our next step. We're just making do with some of the existing hardware that we had when I took the rock bars off. So we're going to use the original M8 bolt with the flat washer and get this in and tighten this arm up. So let's come down. See what we're doing here. Again, at this point, we're just keeping everything hand tight until everything is on, and we'll go back around and we will tighten everything up with our ratchet. We're going to repeat that process that we did with that first arm, now with the second K arm in the middle of the body. So same hardware again, and the K arm. And then the next step is to put that M8 bolt right through that holding spot. So now we just put that M8. And again, we're just going to hand tighten everything. And then we will go back around with the ratchet at the end and tighten everything up. Once we've all got the arms on there and the running board on there. Okay, so we're going to attach the last arm on the driver's side. It's going to go in the rear. So this will be the L arm. Now with the 2026, it looks like we have 3 holes at the end, but it actually only fits into the one. The gap here is too large, so at default we're going to be attaching it right here. Same hardware again. The last step will be to place that M8 into the body of the Jeep. Last bolt to go in on the driver's side and the rear before we're going to tighten this all up. Okay, now that all the arms are on, I am going to go and tighten everything up and make sure everything's nice and tight and ready for the running boards. I am going to tighten the arm screws here, or bolts, with 7/16 piece, and then the M8 bolt that goes into the body of the Wrangler, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch piece on the ratchet sets. So I'm just going to tighten them a little bit more with my hands so they're ready to go. Okay, that's the top one done. Just going to get these bolts in. And that should be it, nice and tight. And now I'm just going to go ahead and finish off the middle and end. And just the last piece is just M8s to the body. Okay, the next step is to mount that running board onto those arms. In the instructions, it asks you to use the mounting hardware, which is these U-shaped clamps, and place them inside the running board before we mount. I find it easier if we put the running board on there and then we can slide those brackets on after. So let's go ahead and do that. So we just pick up that running board and place it roughly where we want it. Okay, so it seems like roughly there would be a good spot for us where it almost hits that at the front and that hole here at the back, which is roughly where we're lining up. This side. Yeah, that's perfect. And then we're going to use these mounting clips. I'm going to start with the middle, and with the mounting clips, I'm also going to use those combo bolts that are not in the instructions, but we're using them anyway, and they will work. So now that we got that running board on there, we are going to grab that U-clamp and our screws, and then our ratchet with a 9/16 piece on here. I'm going to push that running board a little bit so it's nice and flush. You're gonna get that mounting bracket, you want the smooth side facing down. Slide that in. And double check. We're lined up on the outside still. That's a little bit of movement. Okay. Now, got my screws, my hex bolts. These are untightened first, then we're going to tighten them with a ratchet. Okay, we're going to move on to do the last two before we go back and tighten everything up. We're going to do the exact same with the front. Got these two bolts, and we're going to put them in here right at the front. That's it. I'm going to move this camera now so you can see it from a different angle. So we're just going to push that bracket in so it's nice and flush. Get that mounting bracket in. Tighten loosely with our hands before we can bring that ratchet back in. Next one. And that's it. Okay, so the driver's side is completely done. We now just have to do the passenger side, and it is just rinse and repeat. So I've got the 3 brackets, I've got all the mounting pieces. I'm just going to go through and mount all these, and when it comes to running the board, I will show you the install from underneath. Let's get started. And I'm just going to run a spacer on this side, just a little bit more room. Okay, now it's just time to tighten them up. That is the arms installed. The next step is the running board. So now that the arms are on, we are just going to go ahead and place on the running board. Get that running board on there. Again, line it up roughly like we had the last one. There we go. It's looking about perfect. And then we're going to take clamps, we'll slide them in. Take our 1/2-inch piece of our ratchet and hex bolts. We will get it all tightened in. To begin, we'll use our loosely place them in and then come back and tighten them up. So this looks about perfect, lined up. And I'm going to start from the middle again. I've tightened them a little bit, but not overly tightened, just so that I can get the rest of the board on and make sure it's lined up. It's perfect. Alright, loosen them off just a little bit, just to adjust. Alright, next two down. And the last two. And that's it.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Go Rhino RB20 running boards in textured black, fitting all 2018 and newer 4-door JL Wranglers. Thanks so much for watching, and for everything Jeep, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.